Hello everybody and welcome to Craft Along with Hazel. Today's video is going to be for the lovely garden tools. I've just stamped these and I've left them like that, but if you wish to put like a colour wash on them, that's entirely up to you. I'll put the camera down and we'll make a start. So I'm just going to go through the kit with you first, a little bit skew with. Right, so you will have a little bag of tiny gold gems. Mine I've left in the box. You'll have a bag with all your bits, plus the cutout. After I've die cut the tools, you can use these as a stencil. It's very, very useful to have these. There's your flowers and your actual sentiment tag. And then there's all your little panels, and what we're using is one of the backing papers from Clarity Stamps, and it seemed to fit in very, very well with this project. So we'll make a start. I'm just going to pop these to a side, and we'll make a start by putting our base card together. As usual, we've got two square pieces of white card, both the same size. So what we're going to do is we are going to score down one side 3 times at about 2 centimetres in. I'm using the Easy Score board because up to the first level is approximately 2 centimetres, so you don't have to measure it. Scoring it 3 times stretches the fibres, makes it a lot easier to bend. I'm going to now add my tape. I add my tape right up to the score line. I find that by doing this, every time you open your card, it's fully protected and it doesn't tear backwards through the score line. Because there's quite a lot of pressure put through that score line every time you open and close your card. So that is my tape on. The inner tape I take off and fold inwards. The outer tape I fold outwards. I take my next piece of card and I line it up to the on my top left hand corner because I'm right handed. If you're left handed, you'll probably find it easier lining it up to the top right hand corner. Then pull out your top piece of tape and your bottom piece of tape. It comes out very, very easily, and then it shows you how easy it is to open. There is no pull on the inside of that card. So we're now going to start and put our pieces together. You will notice on this card we have matted and layered on foam tape on the base and on the middle panel. So we'll take this one step at a time. So we've got the brown. All this is Craft Perfect, no it isn't, it's Craft Artist linen card. It is beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to mat and layer first of all our cream onto the brown. You can do this with tape or you can do it with wet glue. I'm going to use wet glue on mine. Wet glue does give you the manoeuvrability. So if you're not quite true lined up when you first put it on, it does give you that few minutes or few seconds to reposition it. So I'm just running my glue just around the edge and a little bit in the middle. It's a very, very narrow border is this. So let me just get that lined up. So that is my cream onto my brown. I am now going to mat and layer the lovely backing paper. Now you can decide whichever way you want it. There is 4 different ways that you can put it on. If you want, you can lay it down and put your green one on top and see which you like best showing through. If you don't like it that way, you can try turning it round and again seeing how it looks, and just work around and see which is the nicest view, and leave, and then mat and layer it on that side. Oops. And so this would be the last side. I actually quite like this way. I think that one looks the nicest. So we've got the paler at one side and the darker at the other. So again, I can pop this on with wet glue. Again, just all the way around, just a light run of glue. Don't flood it, else it'll warp your paper and it may show through, although it shouldn't show through on this because there's another layer of card on top. So I am putting mine on this way. So you've got approximately that border all the way around. And then on this I'm going to use tape, because this one you have to be very, very careful that you have covered all your areas of the backing paper underneath. So for this one I am going to just use some tape. I'm using a narrow tape around the outside edge so it will catch all the way around. And then I can just put a bit of thicker tape in the middle. But there's just enough room all the way around to use the thin 3mm tape. You can use glue. Don't worry about that if you have only got glue, if you don't have the 3mm tape. Wet glue is fine. So just work it all the way around with my double-sided tape. And then I shall just run a couple of the wider tape in the middle to just hold it. So I'm going to put a couple of pieces of this just down either side here, just to hold it. That, just down that side. Now on this, what I'm going to do is I'll take the whole of this tape off in the middle, and I shall dab that with just a little bit of glue to take the static off. But then the thinner bits I'm going to just fold back, so I've just got that little bit of room for positioning when I put it onto my backing paper. Oops. And that's that little bit. So just a few dabs of glue just to stop those dragging, and again just on there. And you can decide, if you see which the front panel, what is your top flower, you want to match it the same. So we'll go right up to that edge, press it down, pull our tapes out, and that is our first layer done. We now need to pop this onto our main card with foam tape. I'll just get my foam tape. This is a new roll and it's a bit sticky, so if I get stuck up, I am sorry. But I'm hoping that I've given you all enough. I think I have. I think I gave you just that little bit extra, so you had more than enough for doing this. And nearly round. And then just one piece right across diagonally in the middle. And turn my corners back, and this is the 2mm tape that I'm using. I didn't want to make it too deep, else by the time you get all the other bits and pieces on, it would make it very deep if you were planning to post it. So just get all this off. Again, dabs of glue down the middle, and just a little bit on the side. Make sure we've got our areas covered. If you want to make sure again what allowance there is, just turn it over before you put it down. So you'll see that there is just about that allowance. Then we can pull our tapes out, and that is our first layer onto our card. So that then is our lovely first layer. We'll now go on to the centre panel and we work it exactly the same way, but this time we're starting with brown and then green, and the cream is the top layer. So again, we can pop the green onto the brown with wet glue. And I'll just put a little bit in the middle just to hold it down. It doesn't want a lot. And put this on. Again, it's just a little narrow border all the way around. Now the only difference on this, instead of popping the backing paper down onto this part that you've already done, we pop it onto the back of the cream. So we need just some thin tape all the way around. This makes it so much easier, because if you're trying to line it up by putting the backing paper already down, you will find that it's just a little bit difficult. So by doing it this way, you'll get it lined up perfectly. Just down to the bottom. And that's that. Again, we can take the end pieces off. Oops, didn't want to come off. And we'll need to take the middle bit off, because obviously we're not going to be able to pull this, so we'll need to add just a little bit of wet glue onto that. And then this one we just fold back. So again, just add some wet glue so it doesn't grab too quick. So you can see I've just run the wet glue just on there. So then we pop this. I start at the bottom and just run it down the edge. And it's so much easier, a bit of glue on there, so much easier to line up onto here first rather than trying to pop it onto the card. So then we can pop it onto here, onto our main one. I'm going to use double-sided tape because there is the 2 layers on here. I've just noticed that has just slipped with the glue, so I'm just going, if yours happens to slip, just trim it off at this point. It was only a little bit, but I don't like little bits showing. So I'm just going to run tape round. And this makes a lovely man's card, or even a lady's card if she's a lady that likes her gardening. She'd like this, and it can be for any occasion. It could be a nice one for just to send just because, or a nice get well card, a happy birthday, happy retirement, anything like that. It would fit in very well. So just make sure I've got this the right way up before I turn my ends out. With it only being small, you don't need a piece in the middle on this. Again, just turn the ends out. So I've got these ends now that I can hold and balance, and just make sure that I've got a nice little border of green showing. Oops, that just wants to come off that little bit. That's got it. And we now need to pop, that's our panel. Now need to pop the foam tape on the back. And we just need 3 pieces, 1 on either side and 1 in the middle. And 1 down the middle. And then 1 down this edge. And once again, I just turn the outer edges back, top and bottom, take the whole piece off in the middle and run a dab of glue down, making sure that I've got the right flowers to match up at the top. Now these should match with your backing papers and your card exactly onto the top. So as you can see, that then just fits in nicely and it lines up with the brown outer mat on this. So now we're going to actually pop our tools on. You can put these on in any order you like. You don't have to put them on the way I have. I'm just going to get all my little tools out. So first of all, I'm just going to move the tag and my flowers. I am going to pop my wheelbarrow on first. And I think I'm going to pop it there. You can either put this on flat. I'm just going to use a little bit of foam tape. It doesn't need much. Just put a little bit on like that. Oops. Let's pop these onto there. You can use glue gel or whatever to just pop these on or put them on flat. It's entirely your choice on this. So I'm just going to take these off. And I'm going to pop this, I think about there. Now then we're going to, let's pop the rake on next. Now this is where you can decide whether or not you're going to put it on flat. I am going to put it on lengthways, so I need to trim my foam tape down, or if you're using foam pads for this or gel, just make sure that it just runs down nicely, not too wide. And I'm going to pop this just down the middle like that. Leave that at that side. I just want a small bit. Oops, stuck to my fingers. And just pop a little bit on there like that. Oops. The tools are all John Next Door. That didn't work. That had no glue on, so I'll just take a little bit off this piece. These are John Next Door tools. It's a stamp it's a combination set with a stamp and a die, and they're lovely to put together. I'll pop that one there. What shall we have on there? Shall we have the gloves? Now, as I say, you can actually colour wash these if you want to. I just left mine plain because I just thought they'd be better left plain until you knew what you were going to do. But obviously, when you make this and put it together, you will have an idea what you want it for. So, pop the gloves on there like that. What else shall we have? Right, so let's have the fork next. Again, we've just got to trim a little bit off our foam tape to just go down the handle. It doesn't need a lot. I'll pop this down in the middle there. A little bit just on the handle. And a little bit down at the bottom. It's really sticky, is this? It's a new roll I've just gotten. I was surprised how sticky it was. So pop the fork that way, and then we'll have the spade. Now the spade, all I'm going to do on this one is put a little bit on the top of the handle, a little bit on the spade blade at the bottom, and take that off and just put a dab of glue just in the middle here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cross it like that. So we've got, right, so we've got these little shears next. So again, just trim off narrow pieces off the foam tape. And don't need a lot, they're only small. And shall we have those? Or should we have those? Maybe there, like that. We've now got the watering can, and I've got a little bit on his spout. And pop that on that side. Yeah, pop that there like that. I'm going to keep the other bits just for the moment because I'm now going to put my tag on. And again, this can all be matted and laid with wet glue. So you've got your brown as your base layer, there's your green at the next layer, and again they're just nice little borders. And then you've got your cream layer, which will go on the top, which has got quite a nice verse on it. I do quite like this verse. And that going nicely. Just make sure it's all dry. Oops, lost my scissors. And then that wants to go on with some foam tape. Again, just a little bit. Excuse me. I just have to have a drink, excuse me. Oh, that's better. Now you can put your verse where you want. I've just chosen to pop mine up, just up at this top end. Let's pop that there, like that. And I'm going to just put these other tools on. That's that one. And there's a little bit on the blade of this one. Oh, I'm so sorry about coughing. And I'm going to just put some glue, wet glue, on the handles because I don't want them to be any higher. So we can have that one like that, and that one like that. So they just balance nicely on there. Oh, excuse me. Silly cough. Right, so we're now going to work on the flowers. You've got one little fern like this, and I'm going to just pop that so the fern sort of works half in and half out of the wheelbarrow. I'm just going to add this with a little bit of glue. Doesn't want a lot, just enough to hold it. And we'll pop that under there like that and half out. So that'll be drying while we have a look at our flowers. Oops, come out. we'll decide first of all which flowers we're going to use. There's some nice big ones and some little ones. Just going to turn them all over so I can see what we've got. It's entirely up to you how you work these. I'm going to keep all the small ones at the bottom because they'll go, I think, nicely into the bigger ones, the bigger flowers. Oops, doesn't want to come off my fingers. Must have a bit of glue stuck on there. Got these all like this, laid out nicely. Another nice big one there. And that's all right. So what I'm going to do is, whoops, turn those over. Just some little dabs of glue. Doesn't want a lot, just a little dab of glue in the centre of your big ones. And I'm using a little picky up tool, so I'll have a little, whoops, a little blue one on the centre there. What should we have on this one? Have that one on there. We've got those like that. Whoops, that one didn't want to stay off. So now we'll have a look on some of these others. So again, just a little dab of glue in the middle. We've got that one. And again, just using the little pickup tool. Oops, does if it wants to stay stuck. So we're just going to pop them on. Onto each flower. They don't look much at the moment, but when we start putting the beads and that on, they'll look really nice. Oops, I didn't want to. That's slipped. Let's move him over a bit. We got there, so add that little one on there. Just and that little one on there. There's a couple over, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those individually. So we just need to now just shape them a little bit, just press them down a little bit in the middle, just gives them a little bit of shape. Oops. So now we're going to add them to our flowers, out to our card. So I'll just move everything just to a side a moment so I can pull my card in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put some odd little dabs of glue. So we'll start off with the big ones. So we'll pop a big one there. Oops. And maybe a little one underneath. Oh, I do apologise with this cough, it's awful today. So again, just let's add these, add the flowers, just randomly dot them about. I do apologise for this. It's not like me to keep coughing for so long, but I have been looking out some extra stuff out of a cupboard, and I think it's just some of the dust and that, and the fibres have maybe just got to me a little bit. Another big one on. Well, when I can get it, it doesn't want to come. Another big one on there, and a little one there. Little blue one there. That one there. And that one there. I'm going to just put another big one up here. And then just a couple of little ones just on there, so that they're just coming over the edge of the. So as you can see, that's now, has just put all your flowers in your wheelbarrow. Just going to leave those for just a little minute while I sort out. I'm going to pop the secateurs in next while they're just drying off a little bit, because I don't want to be handling it too soon to put the beads on, because until the glue's dried a little bit. I'm just going to pop the secateurs on. And I'm going to pop those just into there, as if they're going to clip some of the flowers off to take inside. So I'm going to open my little pack of beads. Just be careful with these are not adhesive backed, so you will need to add dabs of glue in the centres of your flowers, just a little dab. It doesn't want a lot. I'm just going to dab them all, because this glue, it does stay wet for quite a while, so you don't have to worry about it drying out before you get your beads on. And then I just use a little picky up tool. Again, these are from Crafts 2, and they are lovely. They're so easy when you're handling beads and gems, just for picking them up. And well, you see how the flowers didn't look a great deal when you put them on, but as soon as you put the little gold gems in the centre, the flowers come to life. Oops. Down. And pop these on. I think I've given you plenty. I think I gave you 20, so you should have plenty for all your flowers. Oops, just move them across a bit. So as you can see now, it just brings all your little flowers to life. So I hope you enjoy making this card. This is the one we've made today. This was the sample. So I'd like to see all what you've done. I'm sure that you will have some very creative ideas, and I'd like to see what you come up with. And I enjoy what you're doing, and don't forget to share your cards, and then you may win a prize. And say the prize is another lovely die. I think it's a tags die from John Next Door. So make sure you share them. Bye for now. See you on the next video.